Hi, John.
Okay.
Just waiting on our pre-press manager to show up, and we'll be ready to go.
Okay.
You guys are.
Is that Bruce?
Yes, it is, John.
All right. Great.
The meeting today.
He's coming in to learn about these plates.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Is Wade here?
Nope.
He is not here.
Nope.
Okay, John, we're ready.
All right. Great. Let's get started. So, welcome. Today's topic for our webinar is processor-free plates. So we have Tom Ng from Kodak, US and C Business Development Manager for Offset Print. And we also have Pat Duckworth, who's our national sales rep, and Sam Nickel from Kodak, who is in charge of the sales for Kodak for the graphics area. So welcome, and we're going to turn it over to Tom. We will be recording the session, so if you have people that want to watch it at another time, or you want to watch it again at another time, we will send the link out, and you'll be able to do that. Also, sometimes we run into problems with outside noise or interference, or somebody puts their phone on hold and we get music or something like that. So if you could mute your phone, and then there's a chat screen at the bottom right-hand side. Ask any questions through the chat screen, and then I'll make sure that that Tom sees it, or we know that they're there, and we can do that. That way, we don't run into problems with the audio, which can sometimes happen on these webinars. So with that, Tom, you're welcome to get started.
Thanks, John. Again, my name's Tom Ng. I'm the Business Development Manager for Offset Plates for Kodak in the United States and Canada. Been with Kodak since 1990. Graduated from RIT around that same time frame, and held various positions throughout Kodak in various geographies and pretty much almost all facets of our printing industry, whether it be flexo, whether it be digital print, proofing, so on and so forth throughout the years. And yes, at the bottom, I am an Eagle Scout through the Boy Scouts. First, I want to say thanks for John and the members of GAA for inviting me to present the evolution of offset plate technology, with a focus primarily on process-free plates and the recently announced Kodak Sonora X plate. In today's presentation, I just want to cover a brief history of process-free plates. Want to discuss the trends in the industry that are driving continuous improvements in process-free technology, and what this means to you, the printer. In other words, you may be asking yourself when this presentation is done, is this now the time for me to go process-free? So before I get started, I wanted to review the relevance of offset printing today to give some context around the content that I'm going to present, and why this information is important to help keep offset printing relevant in the future. Offset print continues to remain a huge part of the industry. It's been around for a very long time, and for good reason, and it's not going away anytime soon. And that's partly because of the constantly evolving. It's constantly evolving to be better than it was before, and better than anything else out there for certain applications. As you can see in this chart, Smithers Pyro reports that although digital printing is growing, by 2022, offset printing will still account for over 70% of the world's print output. Early on in plate making was part of a printer's operations that needed to evolve to help reduce costs and improve quality so you remain competitive. So some of the ways that we've seen this evolution in plate making are the removal of film. This removed the materials and the labor steps from the process. We introduced thermal imaging, which improved the quality by introducing a first generation dot. We removed solvents from developers, contributing to improved working conditions, and reduced chemistry, water usage, disposal, improving the sustainability. But the ultimate goal was still to totally eliminate the processor altogether. By nature, thermal imaging is the only technology that will allow plates to be truly process-free. So let's take a look at the advancement of thermal technology and the steps removed from the process during this evolution. Here, we see that thermal CTP started out with preheat plates. There were many steps in the process, as you see, preheat, especially after imaging, of preheat, developed, finishing, post-baking, finishing. So they're very time-consuming and very laborious process. Then came no preheat plates, in which the reduced a step in the cost, reduced a step and a cost, I should say, in the process by removing that preheat oven, but you still had a processor, post-bake, and finish in most cases. Then came process-free and chem-free. And as you can see, process-free allowed for the total removal of the processor and chemistry altogether. Now, along the lines of the chem-free or the chemistry-free route, chem-free is not a system that is free of chemistry. It's just a simpler system to use. It eliminates the hazardous component or the developer in the wet process system, or what has been known as the chemistry, but it still uses a chemical to protect the non-image area called a cleanout solution. Chem-free also requires a cleanout unit, which is a machine or a processor that removes the coating and applies the cleanout solution. Now, because there's a processor and there's chemistry, there is also variability introduced to the process. But you still have chemistry and you still have a processor. In 2005, around that time frame, true process-free came to market, where the processor and chemistry were totally eliminated, achieving the ultimate goal. You basically imaged and then you print. The way that this technology works is that the non-image areas are removed on the press. Or in basic terms, we created a new substrate developed along with a new coating that hardened where it was imaged. Yet it easily cleans out on the press in the non-image areas. Here's a simple illustration to kind of demonstrate what I'm referring to. After the plate is imaged, it's mounted on the press, and you just follow the press manufacturer's normal sequence. So you engage the dampening rollers. This allows the fountain solution to soften or swell, swell the unexposed coating in the non-image areas. When the ink forms are engaged, the ink tack strips away the softened coating from the plate. Then the coating follows the natural tack of the system out to the press sheets. It becomes fairly obvious as to the true benefits of true process-free plates. Since the processor is removed, so goes the chemistry. This removes the inconveniences and tangible costs of dealing with chemistry, of having to buy it, store it, change it, and dispose of it. It eliminates the hidden costs of electricity, water, labor, processor maintenance, and the downtime associated with the processor maintenance. Frees up very valuable space, allowing for expansion and or flexibility of placement of the CTP device, improving the working environment. And it supports the printers and the printers' customers' sustainability goals. The print quality and consistency are significantly improved because of two main drivers. Thermal imaging by nature generates a very precise and stable and sharp dot. Removal of the processor eliminates the variables: time, temperature, fresh chemistry, seasoned chemistry, scrub pressure, etc. And it reduces the opportunity for errors. When combining both the thermal imaging and the removal of that processor, the result is a very consistent and stable one-for-one dot. This reduces remakes, reduces costs, leading to increased revenue. During this initial phase of process-free plates, there were still limitations. And because of this, they were really only suitable for small commercial printers and some newspapers. And that's around 2005 to 2012 timeframe. During that timeframe, Kodak's process-free plate that we introduced was the Thermal Direct plate. Some of you may have used that. Again, this is early on with process-free plates, and as you'll see here, the growth was steady, but the adoption was somewhat slow, growing only to a few thousand customers worldwide by 2012. Then around 2012, there were a few new advancements in coating technology that were brought to process-free plates, which addressed some of those earlier limitations. This is when Kodak introduced Sonora XP and Sonora News. This enabled more printers to benefit from process-free and meant a much wider range of applications could now use process-free plates. So during the second phase of the evolution of process-free plates, because of the expansion into more applications, we experienced significant growth and at a much faster rate of adoption than the initial process-free technology. We actually have several GA members contributing to this growth using our Sonora XP plates today, and I thank you very much. This, however, correlates to 20% of printers worldwide using process-free plates. But this also means only 20% of printers worldwide are taking advantage of the benefits that process-free plates bring to the table. That means streamlining the plate making by taking the plates straight to from the CTP to the press, reducing the operational costs, again, by eliminating the processor and the maintenance on the processor and the chemistry costs, reducing the environmental impact, water, electricity, waste, recycling, eliminating the plate chemistry altogether, including the handling, the inventory, the reduced disposal costs. And one of the things that's overlooked quite often in disposal is the liability insurance that is incurred because of that, or the increased liability insurance, I should say. It allows you to free up the floor space, like we discussed earlier, by removing that processing line, and remove the variability of processing for a much more stable process and for consistent print quality. But there were still limitations due to the coating technology at the time. Some of these limitations were tangible and some are perceived. Some of you have already tried process-free and failed and gone back to wet process plates. So now I want to press pause on the plate technology and take a look at what's been going on in the industry over the last few years. We saw earlier how offset print is still a huge percentage of the industry, and that plates needed to evolve to help printers reduce cost and improve print quality. Now the industry is changing in more of a technical manner, and plates need to keep up with these changes to continue to enable offset printing to be a cost competitive solution. So what are the ways the industry is evolving? Well, printers are now using more UV and LED UV, HUV more and more than ever before. This allows printers to achieve more vibrant colors for higher gloss levels, increased choices of substrates for customers, and improve turnaround times. And with the environmental sustainability, it continues to be a trend, with increasing adoption of vegetable-based inks, recycled papers, alcohol-free solvents, and more. And printing operations are becoming more efficient by adding more automation, bringing in faster equipment and overall simplification of their process. All of these trends bring significant benefits to printers and the end customer, and are some of the reasons why offset printing continues to be successful. Therefore, offset plates need to adapt to meet those changing needs of offset print. So how is process-free technology evolving to meet these needs? Well, introducing Sonora X. And early this year, 2018, we announced the launch of Sonora X. Kodak Research and Development had created a new substrate and coating technology, which has resulted in a step change for process-free plate performance. In essence, we've taken the properties and characteristics from the substrates of wet process plates and combined them with new, more sensitive and robust coating and release layer. Our new technology delivers three important improvements. One is an improved run length capability compared to Sonora XP and other process-free plates. The second, have faster imaging capability. And third, they offer a more robust handling. Now, what does this mean for you, the printer? Well, increased imaging speeds equals faster plate throughput. More robust handling equals much better scratch resistance, on par with wet process plates. Significant run length improvements enables now process-free plates in UV LED, UV, HUV, electron beam. All those aggressive conditions, more aggressive conditions, allow for the use of process-free plates. We have longer run lengths in high-speed printers. We have longer run lengths with heat set, cold set, web, sheet fed, packaging work. Again, matching that of wet process plates. All of these new benefits without compromising process-free's other benefits. So this now allows and brings the benefits of process-free to 80% of the print market. So let's go back to this chart showing the trends of offset printing to help understand why we believe that this opens up process-free to 80% of the market. UV and sustainable printing require certain inks, paper stocks, chemicals that can be very hard on plates, making it very difficult to achieve longer run lengths. To improve efficiencies, more automation is being added. So when printers upgrade to faster and more automated plate setters, they need a fast imaging, robust plate that can keep up with their operation. As we've seen in traditional process-free plates, limitations, there are limitations in all these areas with traditional process-free plates again. Current plates are great for many printers, but those that demand higher performance capabilities have been unable to switch. Despite the significant environmental and cost benefits that process-free brings to the table until now. The developments in these new process-free plates, Sonora X, have been designed specifically to address those needs. So let's see how Sonora X plates have changed that. When we look at the specification sheet of Sonora X and XN, which is the newspaper version of Sonora X, you'll realize that it has a lot of the same characteristics as Sonora XP and Sonora News. However, if we drill down to one of the three areas of the improvements that I mentioned, focusing on run length, we've significantly increased the run length, basically doubled it of what Sonora XP was rated for heat set, cold set, sheet fed, and packaging, and 7 times that of UV applications. To go one step further, we've tested it in over 300 printers in 32 countries. Now, That data was as of mid-June, and we've increased that number significantly since then. So we've tested on 256 presses, at least, across 33 different manufacturers, ink from 50 different manufacturers, fountains from 56 different manufacturers as well. We've covered the gamut in terms of applications, from large commercial sheet fed, offset packaging, heat set web, conventional UV, LED, HUV, newspapers, book printers, and internet printers. They've all experienced a lot of the same results. Very robust handling, less scratching, ability to run longer, and hence the next line item there. Now, some of the numbers here on the screen are outside of specification. These are some of the things, some of the data points that we've been able to obtain from some of the printers, such as we have 120,000 on LED UV. The plate's rated for 75,000, but in some cases we're able to achieve 120,000. 1.7 million on a heat set web. So that's well outside the specification, but the point is this plate is now reaching further beyond what process-free has been in these marketplaces. The fast imaging is allowed fast throughput, maximizing the throughput through all of the fast devices out on the marketplace today, from whether it be Kodak Magnus 800, Heidelberg plate setters, Kodak trend setters, screen plate setters, and so on and so forth. It's because of this experience our customers are having all across all applications with SonoraX is why we believe the market will move from 20% using process-free to 80%. For many of the Sonora XP users out there today, there'll be no reason for you to move to Sonora X, as the plate is running just fine for your application. However, there are other process-free plate users in addition to wet process plates who'll see the significant advantage of what Sonora X brings to the table. So the tangible and the perceived barriers we spoke of before regarding earlier process-free plates have now been removed. Users of Sonora process-free plates, and whether they be Sonora X, Sonora XP, Sonora News, Sonora XN, any of our Sonora process-free plates have been able to see a significant improvement to their bottom line from areas actually that they've never thought would be impacted by plate technology. Talking about press downtime, make ready waste, all impacted by being able to go process-free. Chemistry costs, chemistry disposal costs we talked about. That is an often overlooked line item that printers often overlook. If you're not using Sonora process-free plates today, you might want to consider having your Kodak rep walk you through an ROI model to see the benefits that you could be missing out on. Our customers and our customers will continue to drive change, and the industry must adapt to continue for offset to remain relevant and competitive. That means reducing costs and waste, improving quality with consistency and repeatability, and becoming more sustainable. To take it one step further, Kodak has also combined the improvements to our process-free technology with the enhancements to our CTP devices to achieve the same goals by developing improvements with more automation options, allowing the reduction in footprint, faster imaging speeds to maximize throughput, options to give customers the flexibility to meet their specific needs, and significant power savings enhancements, continuing the sustainability efforts. One last thing, I wanted to mention the Sonora Greenleaf Award. This award recognizes printers who are using Sonora plates that are environmental leaders, helping to make the printing industry more sustainable. So If you fit this description, you're encouraged to apply. The winners of in each geographical area will be recognized with a plaque, a press release, a blog post, and social media promotion, and much more. All current customers using Sonora process-free plates, doesn't matter what flavor, you're eligible. And applying is just as easy as filling out a few blanks in a form. If you need a copy of the form, please contact your Kodak representative, or to have go to the website kodak.com/go/Sonora Greenleaf. Just remember, deadlines are November 30th for the Sonora Greenleaf Award. I want to thank you for your time, and I'll open up for any questions that you may have with regards to process-free plates.
Tom, this is Pat. I was just going to add that from my time in the field with working with our resellers, going to customer sites that have tried the product, this really is a mainstream product today. It's not a niche product or a limited application plate today. It really does fit a broad audience. It's no longer we'll call it a bleeding edge, user product. It's mainstream. So just wanted to add that from my real world experience working with the customers and dealers.
And we do have some GA members on the call that are running Sonora X today. Have tested it for us and run it through the gauntlet, and I think can back up a lot of the information that was shared on the screen. One of the questions that is often asked is, when and how can we get the plates? And basically, we are in a commercialization phase right now. If you are interested in obtaining some product plates to test, I encourage you to contact your Kodak representative so they can come in and do a couple things. One is go through an ROI with you and sit down so you understand where the savings are and the benefits are for process-free plates. And then the second thing is we like to qualify the environment to make sure that the product and your environment are a fit together, and or if any changes need to be made, which are rare for changes to be made, we identify those ahead of time, and we have the best of success for both us as well as the printer. Any questions?
Tom, this is John Braceland. I know Modern Lithoprint up in Jefferson City was one of our members, one of our earlier members that started using the plate, the Sonora plate. And one of the things that they noticed was a improvement in quality, improvement in halftone screen that they can do. And they felt very, very strongly that the plate actually allowed them to, print better and up their quality level and what they can do. Is that something that other printers have seen, or is that something that was more particular to them, or any thoughts on that?
Yes, actually, I believe Rick Leeser is on the line as well. He's our technical manager, technical product manager for Sonora X, and I would like Rick to comment on that as far as what he's seen versus just taking my word for it. Rick, are you out there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Sure. Yes. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I have to check because I screwed up the last call and dialed the wrong number. So, yeah, but yes, that is a true statement and a true observation that Jim Tomlinson had made from Modern Litho, and we have also realized that at other high-end printers, printing 200 LPI and up and 20 micron FM screening. And the reason for that is the dot structure on Sonora XP and Sonora X is a very well-defined dot structure. If you go back, to film days, I refer to it as a hard-edged dot. There's no fringe on the edge of the dot. Being that Sonora doesn't go through any preheat or processing steps, there's no after imaging steps that can slightly alter that dot structure. So you get a very, as Jim described, a very clean print. And mostly I see that in the 3/4 tones. Your 3/4 tones are nice and clear and open. And again, it's a testament to the technology of the plate and our Kodak square spot thermal heads, able to image that well-defined of a dot structure.
Are
Thank
you
you,
seeing
Rick.
it as well in the roll-up, Rick? It seems as though what I've seen or witnessed is faster roll-up with a DOP plate than a conventional plate in the same shop, which was for me, seeing it firsthand was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm careful with that because I've seen it both ways. It depends on the press and the press conditions. Where I've seen repeatedly that Sonora X and XP does roll up faster and quicker, when I dig down into that, it's usually because there's an issue with the processor on the wet plate, that they've either got their finisher out of whack and you've got finisher blinding, or you've got carryover of developer into the finisher section and you've got some sensitivity on startup. So I'm a little careful with that. I mean, if you're comparing a properly processed wet chemistry plate head to head with Sonora XP or X, they're within 1 or 2 sheets of each other. But again, where the benefit I think comes from X and XP, because now you've eliminated that chemistry in that processor, so you took that variability out of the mix. So if you do have a carryover problem or a finisher problem, it's gone. You don't have to worry about that with XP or X. So to be fair, that's how I look at it.
No, thank you. Yep, makes sense.
Anybody else have other questions for Tom or for any of the other folks on the line?
Rick, how about reading the plate with a densitometer? That's probably one of the most often questions that we get regarding process-free plates when they come out of the imager, or they go through the processor traditionally, and then they read the plates, and then they go to press, so on and so forth. Can the plates be read with a densitometer? And if not, or if so, help clarify that.
Okay. You told me you'd give me all the easy ones.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So, right. No, you cannot read Sonora XP or X with a densitometer or a plate scope or a plate reader. There is no reason to read it either. So to explain it further, the reason we have always stated that you need to read dots or your tonal scale in pre-press was to qualify or verify that the processing system was in specification. So if you, as all you are aware with wet process plates, if you have a preheat plate, if the preheat is high or low, that can affect your dot. If your processor, if the scrubs are too tight, you can get a sharper dot. If the scrubs are too loose, you can get a fuller dot. If your chemistry is hot, you can get a sharp dot. If the chemistry is weak, you can get a fat dot. So the need for reading tonal scale in pre-press was to verify that your wet processing system was in specification. When you read those dots in prepress and you found that they weren't correct, your 50 was a 48 or a 54, you never went and redid your curve. You went and fixed your wet process system to get it back in line. So with Sonora X and Sonora XP, we eliminated all the variability in the press room or in the pre-press area. There's nothing in the system there that's going to alter the dot. So the RIP is sending the information to the laser that says, image me a 50% dot. The laser images the 50% dot on the plate, and that's what you're taking to press. There's nothing there to alter that dot. There's nothing to make it bigger or smaller. The other unique characteristic of XP and X is the stability of the coating. So we've imaged and I've conducted testing on XP and X underexposing and overexposing the plate by as much as 30%. So 30% underexposure, 30% overexposure, and the tonal scale doesn't move. So you can't alter your dot either by under or overexposing the plate. The only way you can change your dot size is by adding a curve to the plate. We've done extensive testing with the plate. There actually is a white paper that we have out that goes into it a little deeper, and with statements from ISO and Grackle that supporting that there is no need to read the dots in prepress with the XP and X technology because of the stability of the plate, and that we've eliminated all the process variability.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Explain it? Okay.
Yes, I understood it. Yes.
Great. Anything else? Any other questions? Anything else anybody wants to throw in for the call today? All right.
There's
Tom,
no other...
well, thanks very much.
Yes, thank you, John. I just want to say that if you do have further questions, have interest around Sonora X, please contact your Kodak representative. Again, they'll walk you through the ROI, help you with that. They'll walk through the qualification form, the qualification process, and then we'll look at getting some demo product on site for you to test. So I thank you for your time, but with the attributes that have been brought to the table for process-free technology, with the run length improvements, the scratch resistance improvements, and the faster imaging speeds, I hope you'll reconsider a process-free if you've already gone down that path and gone back to wet plates and go back to Sonora X plates. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. Rick, Pat, John, thank you.
John, thanks for the invite. Thanks for organizing this. Thanks for including us. Greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. And like I said, we have recorded it, so we will be sending this out to all our members so that they can watch it at another time if they need to.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Have a good one.